Hello, this is Larry Heikemper. I'm the president of MinuteMan Weather, LLC. Our offices are located in College Station, Texas, and we're a new weather venture in the energy market with a focus on change, confidence, and risk, specifically with the idea that temperatures are not a discrete forecast, but they are a forecast of distribution, and all the value lies in the knowledge of those type of distributions and how they change. And one of the things we do is prepare a winter seminar, and we prepared that for you. Hope you enjoy it. And I'll turn it over to our senior meteorologist, Kaylee Carey, to take it away. Kaylee?
Thanks, Larry. Let's go ahead and jump right into that 2021 forecast. We're excited to show you we worked really hard on it. And here's just a quick look at what we're going to be taking you through today. We're going to start off with our actual forecast. Go back, take a look at what happened this past fall. What parameters did we use to come to this conclusion of our forecast, and what possible issues could there be, meaning what could actually go wrong? But let's start it off with our seasonal forecast here from MinuteMan Weather. Now, cold air, we're primarily forecasting it to stay up to the northern portion of the United States and to the southern half of Canada. And that warmer air covering almost the entire lower 48, at least the lower half, and then well above average temperatures for the desert southwest. Now, precipitation dry down towards the southwest, all the way down over into Florida, and then above average precipitation for the Pacific Northwest and the Northeast on into the Ohio Valley. Both of these are very in line with a typical winter La Nina pattern. And when we start to break it down month by month, you can see that January we have that cold going a little bit further east of Hudson Bay. But notice as we head into February, that cold air really starts to pull off towards the west. And this is why we're forecasting La Nina to strengthen throughout the month of February as well. And a lot of times when that happens, that cold air kind of gets trapped off to the western half of Canada. And then watch what happens as we go into March. That cold air really starts to expand and kind of spill over on into the east. And that's indicative of La Nina starting to weaken. Now, as we start to head into March, the forecasts in general are calling for La Nina to start to move a little bit closer towards a neutral phase. Now, taking a past look at this fall, National Weather Service almost nailed this one on the head, looking at above average temperatures for the entire United States and verifying what happened. It was well above average, especially in the desert southwest, and not only in the northeast, but almost the entire eastern half. And that's not an anomaly. We're used to seeing well above average temperatures as we start to head deeper in to sea surface temperatures warming. Now, looking at precipitation, drier in the desert southwest was the forecast, and drier in the desert southwest is exactly what they got. But that below average precipitation expanded on into the plains as well and up into the northeast. And we did see above average precipitation in some portions of the southeast and up very close into just the eastern portion of the Pacific Northwest. So once again, their forecast was very in line with what tends to happen during a La Nina weather pattern. Now, why are we talking about La Nina so much? Because this was one of our main parameters that we used when coming up with our forecast. Quick little El Nino Southern Oscillation review, just because this is what really we use to kind of drive our forecast home. Now, in a typical La Nina winter pattern, this is what tends to happen. That cold air kind of gets pulled off towards the west. It stays drier down towards the south. And we see above average precipitation in the Pacific Northwest and Ohio Valley. Now, where are we now? Currently, we're in a moderate La Nina and forecasted to strengthen as we head a little bit deeper on into winter. And this is how we came up with our analog years. We used first year La Nina specifically, and we try to compare the O&I number from each month that correlated with what we're dealing with heading into January, February, and March. So for time's sake, we're just going to compare the two most recent La Nina analog years, and that happens to be from December 2010 and December 2017. Now, the reason we chose these two is because if you start to go too far back with our analog years, the teleconnections don't behave the same with sea surface temperatures being significantly warmer than what they used to be about 25 to 30 years ago. So we're not seeing those weather and the climate patterns really interact the same as they do now. So let's just be safe and stick with the two most recent ones. Now notice 2017, very similar to what we're dealing with in 2020. Not a lot of cold water out there, and that's kind of what we're seeing currently. But the reason we are also showing 2010 is because our current La Nina does have the potential to strengthen as we head deeper into the winter months. Now, although we are forecasted to strengthen, we are forecasted to kind of slide right back down into neutral just as spring starts to kick off. Now, this is where we're looking at the comparison of 2010 and 2017. The strength of our La Nina correlates with 2010, but the length of it is more closely related to what we are dealing with in 2017. Now, something else we're trying to pull into the picture when we look at what we could be looking at as we head into winter is we're looking at the Arctic Oscillation. Just a quick little review of what it is. It's basically a belt in the Arctic that we're looking at. So the higher those winds go, the more positive the Arctic Oscillation is. And so it's keeping that cold air kind of locked up at the pole. But when those winds start to weaken and not as strong, AO starts to slide more neutral and negative, that belt loosens and all that cold air has a potential to dip down a little bit further south, leading into a possible more active weather pattern. So currently we are in that negative phase, meaning that we could be seeing some more active weather patterns start to kind of push through as we head into early January. And we're kind of already dealing with that now towards the end of December. Now, AO and NAO, closely related, basically the same thing, just measured by different parameters. Now, likely NAO is going to be positive during most of the winter months, indicating a slightly milder winter overall. Now, the QBO, the quasi-biennial oscillation, those are winds that rotate around the poles. And this is phenomenal, guys. These winds shift directions from east to west roughly every 14 months. And generally, the westerly winds tend to be stronger. And that's exactly what we're in now. And that indicates mild winter, but more active storms. Something else that we're looking at is solar analysis. Now, this is one of the most fascinating things to me. Now, we were just at a minima in December 2019, so roughly about a year ago, meaning that there are pretty much no sunspots whatsoever on the sun. And when that tends to happen, the potential for high latitude blocking is there. High latitude blocking indicates that we could be seeing those active winter storms come down through the northeast. Something else we're taking into consideration is the Arctic snow progression. We look over in Siberia where that snowpack line is, roughly around that 60-degree north latitude line, and we're really looking at those first 2 weeks of October. Is that snow line growing or is it not? And yes, it did grow this year, indicating that high latitude blocking will be possible, indicating that we could be dealing with some more active winter storms. Now, one of my favorite things is the MJO. Now, currently it is relatively weak, but something we are looking at throughout winter is that it looks like we're going to kind of be in those warm phases. We're going to be at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, something else we're taking into consideration is that a lot of times when the MJO is in phase 3, roughly about a month later, something called stratospheric warming happens, sudden stratospheric warming. So basically there's a pressure release at the poles and it kind of just causes everything to just kind of loosen up, and it allows for all the air has the potential to dip down a little bit further south again, indicating the potential for more winter storms to make its way through. Now, we looked at the model outlooks as well. Climate forecast system, the CFS. Now, this is the American model. Now, both of these outlooks are very similar to what a typical winter La Nina pattern would look like. Warmer across almost the entire lower 48. And if you look up towards the top of the map, you can see that cold air off towards the west. Once again, tends to happen in La Nina, and the precipitation, above average precipitation in the Ohio Valley, and a little bit drier as you start to head down further south. Now, the European, very much in line with a typical La Nina weather pattern as well for winter. Warmer across almost the entire United States, cold air off towards the west in Canada, above average precipitation Pacific Northwest, Northeast, Ohio Valley, and then drier down towards the desert Southwest. Now, the National Weather Service is almost a copy and paste of this as well. So they're very much in line with the typical La Nina winter weather pattern and both of those model systems. Now, when we take a look back at what we have forecasted, we went ahead and extended that colder air a little bit further off towards the east, just because of the phases of AO, the NAO, and the potential for the MJO. A lot of cold air does have the potential to reach down towards the eastern side of Canada and the United States as well. Something we're very confident in, though, is the above average temperatures for the desert Southwest. We really don't think that's going anywhere. Precipitation-wise, above average precipitation is very likely for the Pacific Northwest and the Ohio Valley up into a little bit further towards the East Coast, and then below average precipitation for the Southwest and into the deep South. Now, what could go wrong, right? Now, something that does have the possibility to happen is that ENSO really, it doesn't get as strong as all the models are predicting, and it kind of starts to phase out or go into a neutral phase a little bit earlier. And this would lead to colder temperatures across almost the entire lower 48 and much more ranges east of the Mississippi. Something else that could happen is that blocking pattern continues in the northern latitudes, and that would actually mean it would be colder and wetter in the northeast. Once again, much more activity with winter storms making their way through. Now, something else that could happen is, I don't know if you guys remember November, but it was mild. November was a very mild month. Now, if that pattern kind of transcends on into early winter, we could be looking at a very moderate, mild winter, even more so than what we're actually forecasting. Now, all in all, once again, something that we are the most confident in are the above average temperatures in the desert Southwest. Here is all of our contact information. At any point, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We would love to talk to you. We love talking about weather. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. But for now, we're going to go ahead and hand it back over to Larry.
Hi, this is Larry Heikemper, President of MinuteMan Weather again. I'd like to give you a glimpse into some of our key products that we've developed as part of our service. Our service, again, focuses on change, confidence, and risk. We make a particular focus with developing products for the various ISOs that are in operation and trade regularly. And you'll see that in these product samples. First product we'd like to talk about is the starting point. We like to do verification products, and we provide a service where we can help you target your verifications and focus it on the approach you'd like to take. But this is a sample of a maximum, minimum, and mean forecast verification for a 24-hour period, comparing the GFS to what actually occurred. And you can see there are some large errors that have to be bias corrected. Specifically, if we look at the minimum temperature, you'll see in the plains there are some very, very large errors where the GFS was too warm on the minimum temperature. So that's one of the products we provide. We believe that that's always the starting point, that we should start with verifications of what have happened. And again, as I mentioned, we have a focus on ISO regions, so we do our verification specifically for the various ISO regions that are calculated. And we use a population weighted approach to generate these verifications. Next product I'd like to show you is a city sample. We forecast temperatures by city. You can select your cities. You can almost select any virtual location. They go out 15 days. We forecast a max, min, mean, and a departure, which we color code for easy viewing. This, of course, can be customized. And then we also are a big focus on change. So this is just an example of one of our change products, which is the mean temperature in the 6 to 10 day forecast, one of the critical forecast periods for market moves. And it shows in this example that major changes to colder in the west and warmer in the east. Then some of our specific ISO products. This is a graphical example of the various ISOs with the various energy degree day information, percent of normal changes, and various other absolute values that are shown graphically in the forecast. All these products, by the way, are updated with every new forecast that's available. And then the next thing we like to show is a key critical table that we created that basically summarizes the entire ISO situation with the total degree day forecast, departures, percent of normal change. Here we capture the confidence in the risk with color-coded risk. If the risk is directional, where it's not just equal on either side of the mean, we capture that with words like colder, warmer. And then we have various classifications of colder and warmer, slightly colder, much colder. And then we also can provide a day-by-day change in the forecast for the various energy degree days that are shown in the tables there, histograms. So that's a very valuable product that our customers really seem to enjoy. So that's just a brief sample of the products we provide. There are many more. We provide free sample products, free trials. So if you would like to contact us, I can be contacted at the appropriate numbers that are provided in the next view graph. Thank you.